Hi guys! In this video we'll be making this Catwoman inspired doll repaint. I went for the newer Gotham City Siren kind of look for her, but you can make the more classic one if you want. I hope you enjoy my take on the character, and let's get started. I'll be working on a made to move Barbie in this video, specifically this one because I think it's a good base for a lot of characters, but you can work on any doll you want. Firstly, I took the head off the body and started cutting away the hair. You can keep the hair if you want, but it's going to be hard to having it lay flat beyond the headpiece you'll be wearing. Once you've cut away as much hair as possible from the outside, take a pair of tweezers and start scraping the glue out from the inside. Before we start repainting her, I want to make the headpiece that she wears because I don't want to put strain on the new face. I'm going to make a pattern by covering the doll in kitchen film and then covering it with tape so I can draw on the pattern. You only have to draw on half of the pattern, because you can just flip it over to make it symmetrical. Cut out the pattern pieces and then transfer them to paper so you can see them better. Now pick up your fabric. I'll be using fake leather with a bit of stretch. Cut out the two pieces that's going to form the side of the head and sew them together in the same order they were cut apart in the pattern. Cut away any excess at the seams and then flip the pattern over and cut two pieces for the other side and sew those together as well. Once you got both sides, cut out the piece that's going to go around the neck and then sew the two upper pieces to it. Then sew the two top pieces together at the top of the head, but leave the back side open. And you should have something like this. Now we're gonna put it aside and do the repaint. Using some Acetone nail polish remover, I'm going to remove the factory paint on the face and then cleanse the face with soap and water. Then I prime the face with 3 thin coats of Mr. Super Clear spray before I get out my chalk pastels and my watercolor pencils to start the repaint. I was going for a cat eye makeup look since it seemed very fitting, and I also will just start by drawing the first eye, usually with the one on my right, on until I'm happy with the shape and placement. If I make any mistake, I use an eraser to remove them, and once I'm happy with the look, I try to make it as similar on the other side as I can, which I do off camera because it takes a while. Once I'm happy with the basic eyes, I start blocking in the whites of the eyes and the color of the iris. For the eyebrows, I start by sketching them in chalk pastel on a brush, which is very easy to shape and erase. Once I'm happy with the shape, I go over it with a pencil to draw in the individual little hairs. For the lips, I went for a sort of natural look. Then I use some brown chalk pastel to kind of contour the face, around the cheekbones, the temples, side of the nose, before using a bit of blush on the cheeks and a bit of white to highlight the highlights areas. And this was what I did in my first layer of color. Then I'm going to spray her again with the Mr. Super Clear spray, allow her to dry, and then I'm going to work on top. Going over the same areas now will build up the color and make it more opaque. For her makeup, I blended a bit of brown and then black chalk pastel at the outer corners of the eyes. For some slightly harsher highlights, I used the white pencil directly on the skin. And this was the second layer of color, time for another spray. I go over the different areas to add color one more time, then I use the watercolor effect of my white pencil to add the highlights of the eyes. Then I give her final spray of Mr. Superclear to set everything in, allow her to dry, and then I add a bit of glaze to the eyes and lips. And that's the face done. Now we're going to use the kitchen film and tape method again to start working on the suit. Once you're happy with the shape of the suit, cut out all the pieces and transfer them to paper so you can see your pattern. And this is what we have to make one half of the suit. Now get out your fabric again, sketch over the pieces and cut them out. Start by sewing together the pieces that are gonna make the top. Once you have the front and the back of the top sewed together, you want to sew them together at the shoulder. Then sew in the sleeve. Then you want to sew both the front and back leg pieces onto the top as well. Then you fold it in half at the shoulders and sew down both the sleeve and the sides. And that's one half of the suit done. Then you want to make the other half the same way, put them together and sew them together at the crotch and up and at the bottom. Then you can sew together the inner line of the pant legs. And that's the basic suit. On the doll it looks like this. Now just fold down and sew the top edge of the collar, also at the end of the sleeves, and then you can close the whole suit with a piece of Velcro in the back. And that's the suit done. Now we're gonna make her some very simple boots. The base of the boots is just going to be this pair of black Barbie pumps. This is just to make the process a little easier for you guys. So you stick them on the foot, then you cover the doll's leg in kitchen foil and tape again. I made mine a little baggy because this type of doll has very small ankles and I didn't want to show that off. And then you can draw on your pattern like before. Transfer the pattern onto the fabric, and then you want to glue it onto the shoe. And here you go, that's our very simple boots that looks like an incorporated part of the suit. For her hands, I glued on small triangles of paper to be her claws, and then I used black acrylic paint to paint the hands. Once dry, seal it in with a bit of Modpodge. And here's the body so far. For a little extra detail, I took a small silver Jumpring and glued this to the top of the opening of the suit to be the top of the zipper. And now it's time to finish the headpiece. Put it back on the doll and use a piece of Velcro to close the back. Then cut out 2 triangles of fabric and glue these on for the cat ears. Then I took a bit of the hair we cut off at the beginning and glued together for a small weft for her bangs. To make her goggles, I used some black Fimo Polymer Clay, rolled it out flat and then cut out the shape. For the glass, I mixed a bit of liquid Polymer Clay with a few shades of pastel and added this to the inside. Now you want to pre-bake both pieces for just a few minutes to set them. Then while they're still warm, you want to carefully remove them and add them onto a cookie cutter to get them curved, and then bake them for the complete time according to package instructions. And they should end up looking like this. Now you can glaze them with a bit of glaze. Use a piece of small ribbon to glue the glasses together, or you could also use some elastic. As a final touch, I made her a whip by taking some regular string, painted it with acrylic paint and then wrapping it together. And here we are, our Catwoman repaint is done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, it really means a lot to me. And leave me suggestions in the comments below if you have any characters you'd like to see me repaint. That's all for now, I'll see you in another one real soon. Bye!